ladies and gentlemen, Richard Core Kenobi here, and I can't believe it's been 3 years since I last did this, but for those of you who don't know, I did a review of Teen Titans Go 3 years ago, of the first couple of episodes, and I said it, I agreed with it, and I still stand by it with everybody else. This show sucks. It beyond sucks. It's a fucking piece of garbage. It is as if Cartoon Network, every episode, it feels like they're killing your childhood, they're raping your childhood, they're shooting your childhood, they're eating it, feasting on its soul, mounting it, then putting it in the ground, burying it, and then pissing on the fucking tombstone. That's how bad this show is, man. And you know, there were some funny episodes I liked, and hell, even my older subscribers will remember that time I posted Teen Titans Go clips, because those were funny. But it feels like every time we got a funny episode that actually made us chuckle, made us laugh, made us, ha, I laughed, that's funny. And then have the next episode be like, ah! It's just, it is. It's like the good episodes or the decent episodes are buried beneath 10,000 pounds of dog shit and cat vomit and pig shit. You just have to claw and crawl and claw until you get that good episode. But the point is that I hate this show. And 3 years later, it still won't die. It still won't die. And again, the main thing that pissed me off with this show is how they messed with Raven, Tara and Beast Boy's love triangle. They make fun of Robin and Starfire shippers like me. They pretty much make me hate these characters, mainly Beast Boy and Cyborg, which, by the way, I used to love all of these characters like everyone else at a point. I used to look up to these characters. I used to relate to these characters. I loved these characters so much. I had an emotional connection with them, and like everyone else, I felt like the Titans were real. They were real. And let me tell you something, to finally, when they do decide to do a shitty sitcom, to just say out loud, I hate these characters. I hate them. That's hard to say because I used to love these characters as a child. I still do. But not these bastardized versions, but the point still stands. So, they made it also to, now let's get to the other thing. They decided to do the same thing with Powerpuff Girls. Now, as everyone knows, I defended this show. I said, hey, maybe this show won't be as good as the original, but maybe it'll be decent. And it started off like that, even though there were some problems, I'll give you that. And I actually defended the new voice actresses because, again, I mean, it's not their fault they have to read shitty dialogue because the writers just love doing that. And you know what? I could understand the hate. I could understand it, and I can even justify it. Because, again, you have every right to do that. Because, again, this show will not be, neither of these shows will be as good as their predecessors. That's just the bottom line. But the point still stands, is that the Powerpuff Girls show went from having potential to just being god-awful. It's actually done the impossible. It's worse. It's worse than Teen Titans Go. And I never thought that was possible. I never in all of my life thought that was possible. And I'm not just talking about the first couple of episodes. No. Because the first couple of episodes were pretty funny. They had a punch. They were trying to be funny. They were trying to honor what came before it. Again, before. And then after that, it feels like the show just pulled a complete 180. It just decided, okay, now let's, fuck it, let's just go in the same direction Teen Titans Go is going for. And that's exactly what they did. And that's unbelievable. That these past couple of episodes have just been horrible. they're not funny. There's a rare funny moment. That's how bad it is. And it astonishes me. And yes, I know the whole controversy with the original actresses not coming back. Now, again, I have my own theories, mainly because, one, Cartoon Network are fucking assholes, and two, it's because apparently it was because the creators wanted to take a new direction. And it was because they didn't feel that the original actresses couldn't pull off those same voices, even though they can, because again, they do it so well. Back then, if you were to watch Powerpuff Girls and you actually thought that these were actual little girls voicing little girls. But no, it wasn't. It was 3 grown women. That's how good they were. And again, it really, like everyone, I was a little irritated that they didn't. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The one person who was irritated out of all of us was Tara Strong. The original voice of Bubbles and the current voice of, unfortunately, Raven and Twilight Sparkle. So, yeah. And, you know, she even said that she was so devastated. Well, she wasn't devastated. She was so upset that she called it a stab to the heart. And you know what? That pretty much sums it up right there. That's exactly what both these two shows are. Well, except Teen Titans Go is a stab to the whole body. But, Powerpuff Girls is a stab to the heart. But let's get on with it. So, yeah. Again, the show is bad now. It's just as bad as Teen Titans Go. It's even worse than Teen Titans Go. And unfortunately, like its predecessor, like its counterpart, it's getting a second season. So yes, we have to endure this even more. And these Powerpuff Girls are going to be coming back to the IDW comics when the original Powerpuff Girls ended their run on IDW comics. So yay, thank you. That's just perfect. But let's talk about this. Here's what we're here to talk about. I've jumped around it long enough, and you know what that title is, so let's talk about it. So, Cartoon Network decided to do its 3rd crossover, and they've done 2 crossovers so far. The first one was with Billy and Mandy and Codename Kids Next Door. By the way, the best Cartoon Network crossover of all time. It was better, it was awesome. And the second one was, unfortunately, and I know Steven Universe fans like myself don't want to remember it, but I won't mention its name, but let's just say if you saw that crossover, then yeah, don't mention it. So yeah. So, what has this year been about so far? Crossovers. You've had, or crossover battles, I should say. You've had Batman versus Superman. You've had Captain America versus Iron Man. You've also had Spider-Man crossover with the MCU, and now is a part of the MCU for the first time in so long. And I can't wait for his movie next year, but that's beside the point. You've had Supergirl and the Flash crossover. You've had the 80s Turtles and the 2012 Turtles crossover in the cartoon. Best season of all. And you've also had the Punisher fight Daredevil. And last but not least, you've had Batman crossover with the Ninja Turtles in comics. Yes, that's true. Go look up Batman versus the Ninja Turtles. I think it ended, but so far it's been pretty good. So, yeah. So Cartoon Network just decided, hey, we're going to get on that. Let's do our 3rd crossover. Well, since our last crossover was shit, well, sort of shit, because there were actually funny moments in it, so what are we going to cross over next? I could just imagine this is how it went. So what are we going to cross over next, gentlemen? Steven Universe and Adventure Time? Nope. No. We don't want to appeal to the fans. We want to tease them and make them wait a little bit longer on that. Okay, regular show and We Bare Bears? No, that makes too much sense to do, even though both of those shows are great, and our teen and adult demographic love those shows, so no. Teen Titans and Powerpuff Girls? Perfect! Do that! It'll be perfect! The kids will love it, and of course, as always, our teen and adult demographic who were fans of both of these original shows won't give a fucking shit. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, that's exactly what they decided to do. Oh, God. Anti-life justifies my hate. Oh, God, give me strength. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let's talk about the crossover. So, yes, this is the long-awaited crossover between the Powerpuff Girls and Teen Titans Go. And how should I say this? It was the worst crossover of all time. I can't believe it. This is the worst. Weeks and weeks and months of build-up and hype, Cartoon Network, and you actually you suckered us in to watching this. Because what were your thoughts on this? Excuse me. Was this gonna be? Hold on. Need something to drown the pain. Excuse me. So, anyway, what did you think? Was this going to be a 30-minute special where all kinds of things could have happened? Well, before I get to that, let me talk about this for a second, because Cartoon Network ripped off this from me. Now, you're probably asking, what the hell are you talking about, and how does this work? Let me just explain this, because the kid version of me feels like I just got ripped off, but let's explain. So a few years ago, I had this idea when I was 8 years old. I had to be, I don't know, at elementary at the time. And, you know, my favorite thing was to go home and watch TV. You know, watch TV. I would always watch Cartoon Network because that was my favorite block of all time. It was my favorite cartoon. It was my favorite network of all time. And, you know, two shows that really stuck out to me, well, there was a lot of shows that stuck out to me, Code Lyoko, Megas, XLR, just a lot of shows that I have seen, Samurai Jack even, but the two shows that I had fond memories of were Teen Titans and the Powerpuff Girls. So, what I would do is I would do what any kid would do, because this was back when we didn't have tablets or iPhones or any of that. I would, you know, crossover shows. In my head, I would crossover shows. Like, I had this idea that Cartoon Network brought to life, where you would see Samurai Jack and Johnny Bravo talk. I actually had an awesome idea where Samurai Jack, Johnny Bravo, and the Powerpuff Girls would cross over, and it would be this awesome, funny battle, but that's another story. So yes, I decided in my head, hey, I'll just cross over Teen Titans and Powerpuff Girls, the originals. So I had this idea where it would involve the Titans. You would see this Titan villain we've never seen before. He has the power to jump to different multiverses, and then the Titans would chase him, and they would all end up in the Powerpuff Girls universe. And you would get to see the Titans interact with the citizens of Townsville. They were like, what the heck's going on? Where are we? And they would see this giant monster, and then you would see them try and take down this giant monster while the Powerpuff Girls watched. And instead of nowadays where the heroes have to battle, this would actually have the heroes be admired. Like, you would see the Powerpuff Girls be admired by this team. Like, wow, they're powerful. They're pretty good. I've never seen them. And of course, you would see them interact, you would see them become friends quickly, and it'd be funny, you know, and, you know, you would get to see Robin interact with Blossom. You would get to see Beast Boy and Starfire, you know, interact with Bubbles, and then you would get to see, this was my favorite, where you would get to see Buttercup and Raven interact. That would be awesome. And then they would go back to the professor's house, and they would just stay there, because where else are they going to go? And you would actually get to see Professor Utonium and Cyborg interact, like they'd be talking about technology stuff, technobabble, all that. And, you know, that was pretty good. I came up with a pretty good idea. And they would have to fight the villain, and the villain would recruit all of the Powerpuff Girls Rogues Gallery. They would, he would team up with Mojo Jojo, Princess, him, Fuzzy Lumpkins, the Green Gang, I think that's how you said his name, the Yumi Boys. Pretty much it'd be an epic battle. And then, of course, the Powerpuff Girls and the Teen Titans have to work together, and they would defeat the villains, and then they would chase this guy and some of the Powerpuff Girls villains through different dimensions, fight them there, then come back, defeat the bad guy. And how they would get back, they would actually have to, you know, since this dude's belt was broken, so he can't travel to dimensions, you would actually get to see Cyborg and Professor Utonium find a way to make a device that can generate a portal to different dimensions. And that's how they would get back, and it would end where the Titans and the Powerpuff Girls would show respect, and of course, it would foreshadow that maybe they'll cross over again. That's how I added that. That alone would be awesome. That alone would have been an awesome crossover. An idea from an 8-year-old boy is so much better than what we got, because what we got was not that. Now, let's get to the part where I just said it. So, let's talk about it. So, this crossover starts where the Powerpuff Girls defeat Mojo Jojo and his monkey army, and then he says curses, and then he decides to go to a different dimension where and keep in mind, I'm going to bring this up later. So, he says, I'm going to a dimension where superheroes are lazy and don't fight crime. And then, of course, the narrator says, what kind of world could be like that? And it's Jump City. It's the Teen Titans universe. And we see Cyborg and Beast Boy just being lazy. Being this Cyborg and Beast Boy, they're fucking lazy. So, yes, Mojo Jojo comes, and they're impressed because, oh my god, it's a magic talking monkey. And they're so in awe. It's just like, you've seen this before, remember? But whatever. And then you would see and then they would go, and Mojo would recruit them, and they go help him, and all that bullshit. And then the Powerpuff Girls arrive, and they meet the other Titans, and the other Titans don't take them seriously. They call them babies. And they get a note that Cyborg and Beast Boy are in trouble, so then the Titans and the Powerpuff Girls, even though the Powerpuff Girls are trying to warn them, but of course the Titans, being jackasses, don't take them seriously and just say, go along, play with your dolls or something. I was just like, fuck you. And then, of course, they have this pissing contest, not a literal pissing contest, but they have this team competition. And there actually is one funny joke, and it's the only funny joke of this episode, or of this crossover, is that Robin hears the narrator, and the narrator and him are talking, and Robin just does stuff because the narrator said. That's the joke throughout this whole movie, and that's the only joke that made me laugh, and it'll probably make you laugh, but that's it. And we get this whole song that was built up for weeks, and then it just turns out it's a 20-second song just called Monkey Army. It's just the lyrics repeat over and over again. Monkey Army, Monkey Army, Monkey Army, Monkey Army, Monkey Army. It's the same thing. So, yeah. And then, after that, the Titans and the Powerpuff Girls, they fought. They of course, arguing. And, of course, the Teen Titans are still being the lovable jackasses that they are. Just decide to treat them like crap. And then it ends where, the Titans disguise themselves as the Powerpuff Girls, and then the Powerpuff Girls defeat Mojo Jojo's Monkey Army, and then that's it. It just ends, and then it ends with the Powerpuff Girls saying, we couldn't have done it without you, Titans, and then the Titans decide to be dicks, and say, yay, that means we won the competition, we're better than you, babies, ha 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 ha, and they celebrate, and even the narrator says, so that once again the day was saved by the Teen Titans. I was just like, yeah, that's it, that's the episode, a few minutes, that was the episode. Now you're probably wondering, how long was this crossover? I'll tell you how long it was. 9 minutes! That's how long this was. 9 minutes! Not 20, not 30 minutes, no! 9 minutes. All of that was so horrible. Because again, how do you make a 9-minute crossover? This was a standard episode. And again, if you're wanting to watch this, although I don't know why you would, but if you're just curious, this is a Teen Titans episode, not a Powerpuff Girls episode. So that just makes no sense. I mean, yeah, it's Teen Titans versus Powerpuff Girls, but it's not much fighting. That's my problem. The action, if you could even call it action, there wasn't much of it. The monkey song, it was horrible. This song, this one fucking song, they hyped up like crazy. But no. The jokes were horrible. the characters. And you know what? You remember that thing I was talking about where, okay, the whole punch of this episode is the Powerpuff Girls universe crapping on the Teen Titans universe. Oh yeah, like that hasn't been done. It was funny the first time when it was Aqualad from Young Justice, and it was funny again when it was Control Freak, but this time the joke just died. Because again, it's just like, wow, Mojo Jojo and the narrator are pretty much criticizing their universe. And even the Powerpuff Girls at the end, before, you know, the Titans act all dickish and jackasses, they said, wow, no wonder Mojo wanted to come to this universe. So I was like, oh my god, wow, you end the show, you end the episode on that line. That's just crazy. And this whole thing, this whole joke where the Teen Titans are calling the Powerpuff Girls babies, even though they're not impressed. These three little girls, they actually fight crime. They do stuff. They have responsibilities. But no, you fuckers just don't get that. And they just treat them like infants. It's just like, wow, how? So, yeah, pretty much, you know, I mean, that's how horrible it was, because again, that's the whole joke. The Powerpuff Girls are babies. That's it. I can't believe it. And also too, they ripped off my childhood idea, because again, instead of the other crossover, the second one with Steven Universe and that other show, instead of it just being, you know, they're all in the same universe, they just decided to do multiverse jumping, which, why? Just why? And also, too, they ripped off this whole monkey army bit. Guess what they ripped that off from? No, really, take a guess. What comes to your mind? What that plan Mojo had with the monkey army? Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Yes, the first thing you think of. They ripped off the idea from the Powerpuff Girls movie. And I don't mean, now they tweaked it a little bit. Instead of Mojo just creating armies of monkeys that look like him, and now it's just robotic monkeys. That still doesn't make a difference. You ripped off the original. How can you be that incompetent? How can you be that stupid? But anyway, and all of this was horrible. The joke, were you, remember, and Beast Boy and Cyborg, wow, oh my god, I thought I hated them before, but now I really hate them because they're helping Mojo accomplish his plans. Even after he uses them as bait, they still forgive him. Why? It's just like, and you guys are supposed to, and you get it, Cyborg and Beast Boy are supposed to be lovable heroes. But instead, they just do stupid shit like this, because again, no. And, you know, I could forgive all of that. I could forgive any of that if this was one, longer, and if there was more than one joke that was fucking funny. But no, there wasn't. All the jokes were horrible, and this crossover, to me, it proves to me that Cartoon Network doesn't give a shit. This is pretty much Cartoon Network. Oh, yeah, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh. We don't care. We don't care. And, yeah, it's just it, you know, I mean, I can't believe I had to watch 9.5 minutes of this bullshit. I can't believe it. It's a, you know, and now you're probably asking yourselves, why did I put myself through this? Just why? Even though I said 3 years ago I would never touch this crap again. Well, for two reasons. One, because I had to, because it's fucking Powerpuff Girls and Teen Titans, and I almost thought that maybe this could have been decent, maybe this could have been good, I don't know. But the second reason was because it was requested by my editor and best friend Duo Dreamer, and I was more than happy to, and I didn't even hesitate because I wanted to tear this apart. I wanted to tear this apart. I wanted to tear this a new asshole. But the point is, this crossover didn't just do the other show justice. No. This crossover made both shows look horrible. This crossover made both these shows look horrible at their worst. But the one supposed good thing this crossover did was having the Powerpuff Girls universe be the third people that crap and just beat to death on the Teen Titans universe. Again, we've seen this already. It's not funny anymore. Because again, that's what the writers love doing, because they know it's bad. They know it's bad. We tell them it's bad. We yell at them it's bad. But they turn our negative energy into a joke. I don't even know how you do that. And again, this crossover literally pissed on both my childhoods at the same time. Thank you, Cartoon Network. Thank you for making the dumbest, shittiest crossover of the year. Because again, if you think you've seen some bad crossovers in your time, then look at this one. This one, it has nothing to hide. It's bad. It's beyond bad. And, maybe, just maybe, this is me hoping, maybe some people will decide to pretty much just get rid of these shows. Get rid of them. Just like that. And, I want both these shows to die. I really do. But the problem is that both these shows are watched by 3 to 8-year-olds. And that's the sad part about this generation. Seriously, future generations are going to grow up. This is going to be their first exposure to these shows. To both these wonderful shows. I'm talking about the originals, not this bullshit. It's just like, oh, hey, what did you watch on Cartoon Network growing up? I watched the 2016 Powerpuff Girls and Teen Titans Go. No! Just no! That's the problem. Future generations are gonna just be watching this. That's bad, because again, and there's nothing we can do. Well, actually, yes, there is something we can do. Don't show them it. Because again, if your child wants to watch the original if your child wants to watch Teen Titans or Powerpuff Girls, show them the original. Don't show them this. Because again, these shows have nothing to hide. They're bad to the core. And you know what? The writers, they don't care. The creators, they don't care. The actors, they sound like every time they're just being tortured inside. Not on the outside, but they're being tortured inside because the original actors for Teen Titans, they used to have fun. This used to be the best thing they ever were involved with. They loved these shows to their core. This meant a lot to them. And for them to come back 3 years ago and continue to do this bullshit, it just makes me think that one day it's going to drive them all mad. And the new actresses, from future generations, years from now, they're going to be hated. They're going to be hated beyond relief. And it's all because of the writers. So thank you. So, yeah, that's about it. I've got nothing else to say, but this was the worst fucking crossover of all time. I am so shocked that this happened, and all it accomplished was views and money, nothing else. It didn't make anything you hoped for come to fruition. It didn't make my dreams come true. It didn't make anything come true. It just proved that both these shows are pieces of shit and they need to go away. But that's about it. And this is the last time I'm talking about this. I'm done. Never again. I'm not touching these shows. And as far as I'm concerned, these shows can both go fuck themselves and they can die. So yes, this is Richard Kenobi saying, don't watch this. Don't watch these shows. Don't watch this, period. Go watch the original. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to watch Red vs. Blue. And then I'm going to watch the original shows, because those were better, those were what I grew up with, and those will always be best. Thank you. And please, keep your children away from this. Keep your mind. Your mind is very important. Keep it away. Don't let your mind be infected by this bullshit, by either of these shows. Goodbye.